Hello, welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. I'm Lorraine, and tonight I am going to play with the Sweet Citrus stamp set along with the Sweet Citrus hybrid embossing folder. I just got this set today, so I've had a bit of a play with it, and this is the card I've made. Super basic, super simple. I used the wood grain embossing folder to give it a bit of a background. I've used the greeting from the kit, or from the stamp set, which says sending you a big squeeze. So I've cut out some of the smaller pieces already, but I am going to show you how I stamped the lemons and how I used the hybrid embossing folder. So the first thing I am going to do, just to get it done, is to stamp the sending you a big squeeze just on the top. And again, sorry if I get my hair in the frame, I'm just going to line that up and I'm just going to pop that down like that. So we've got that already stamped, and we can run that through the embossing folder. I'm just going to give that ink just a minute to kind of dry itself up there. And then I'm going to take, this is just a 5 1/4 by 4 piece of basic white. The little flower I did with petal pink with the granny apple green center. The leaves I did with granny apple green. And we've got a Daffodil Delight card base. I'm using Daffodil Delight ink. I'm going to take the outline stamp. They're all connected together so they line up. So I'm just going to take this first value and just place it down. Make sure I've got good coverage. And there. So that's that one. Now for the inside, this I'm going to do second value. So I'm just going to stamp it away once. And then I'm going to line it up, and I am going to get my hair in the frame while I get this organized here. I'm just going to stamp it down like that. Make sure that I'm stamped all the way. So then that gives me my interior, as well as this one we're not actually going to use, but that's okay. So first value exterior, second value interior. Now, when we have our hybrid embossing folders, as always, whichever side has the Stampin' Up on it is your top. So your hybrid embossing folder will actually fit right in your folder like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to lay this down. We have to do some lining up. This goes down like this. Now, I'm going to turn this over like this so I can see through, and then I can put this in and line it up like this and just give it a bit of a twist until I'm lined up correctly, and then I'm going to close the folder. So what I did is I put the embossing, or the die in the embossing folder, then held it and lined up the paper that I needed to do underneath, and then closed the folder. This is a 3D folder, so I need to take just my base platform and my gray plate, and I'm going to run it through the machine, and it is going to cut and emboss as soon as I take my shim plate out. There we go. So we'll run that through, and we'll just hope that everything didn't shift while I was playing around with it like that. Okay, let's see what magic happened when we did that. Okay, so what we've got now is we've got embossed and die cut pieces. And if you just use the embossing folder, it's really detailed. It's a very nice folder for sure. Just on its own, you can see the depth of the embossing. So I've got my pieces, and you can see, it might be easier to see on this side, just the whole depth of that. So now I'm just going to run my 5 1/4 by 4 mat through the, I think it's woodland or timber. I apologize, I don't have the cover out for it. But I'm going to run that through, again, another 3D embossing folder. So I'm going to run it through with the base plate and the gray piece. And I will get my bin of folders out so I can tell you exactly which folder this is. I can't believe I don't know which one it is. Okay. Timber. It's called timber. So here we go. I'll take that out, put that to the side. So what we've got is an embossed background that actually really echoes the citrus embossing, and that's why I chose this one. So let's just go ahead now and build the card. So I need my Stampin' Seal, and I'm going to go all the way around the outside, because with the 3D folders, the edges can get a bit wavy if they're not adhered down really well. So just put that down like that. So I stamped the greeting, and then I ran it through the embossing folder, and you can still read it really clearly, sending you a big squeeze. Now I did this, I started with the center, the hole cut one, and I just popped it down like that. And then I dimensionalized the other pieces like this, and just laid them down off to the side. And then we've got just the slice or the quarter, whatever you'd like to call it. We're going to dimensionalize that as well, and that will sit just like that. And the flower, I'm going to use a mini dimensional on. Oops, if I can pick one up. Just like that. And we'll pop that right in the center like that. Now the leaves, I need one of these mini dimensionals in a minute, but the leaves, I've cut out 3 of them. The nice thing about these dies is there's 2 sets of leaves and 2 sets of the flowers, so you can die cut 2 at once, which is a real time saver. The only thing you need to do is you need to make sure you've got your stamping far enough away from each other that you can put the dies next to each other on the piece that you need to cut out. So I'm just going to tuck one of these just flat mounted in behind like that. And then I'm taking another one and just flat mounting it in like this. Gets a bit out like this. And then this one, I'm flat mounting the base, but then I'm going to take a mini dimensional and pop it on this one here, just to give it a bit of lift. And I'm just going to tuck that in like that. So you can see there's kind of layers of leaves there, but that is our sending you a big squeeze card using the sweet citrus along with the hybrid embossing folder. So again, to do this, you would put the die in. You can almost feel it click in. And then you would put, I'll just use this for lack of anything else, you line up your stamped image underneath, and then you close your folder and run it through your machine. Same way you would if it's a 3D embossing folder. So anyway, thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.